What up, Bloods? And today we are going to talk about this match that just happened, as well as the match tomorrow between Cloud9 versus FaZe in the finals of the E-League Boston 2018 Major. That's right, an NA team has made it. If you missed it, I mean, this is a big spoiler, but I mean, if you missed it, fuck you, man. You missed a sick match, and you deserve it. You deserve the spoiler because you weren't hard, you weren't dedicated, you ain't loyal. Okay, but now I'm making this video to do two things: to talk about the potential veto tomorrow, which is going to be between Cloud9 and FaZe, where I think there's one map that can really not make or break things, but at least change things up, because we're gonna look at like the previous history of FaZe and Cloud9, and I want to talk about the fact that before going into this, it seems very unlikely that Cloud9 are going to be able to beat FaZe. That's just right off the bat. It's most likely going to be a 2-0 tomorrow. Today they beat SK. It was a really great semifinal. And even though SK are like a technically more higher rated team or whatever, I think FaZe are a different type of competition, and that's going to be the problem for them. Just as if, you know, G2 got through to the semifinals, they would have been a big problem for SK, just because of the matchup, even though they're a more highly rated team. And if we look at the last three times they played here, it's been 2-0s every single time. And I think one thing that it maybe will make a difference for Cloud9 is going to be their nuke ban, because as we can see, they have an instant ban on nuke every single time. And what that does is that allows Overpass to get through every single time. So outside of the nuke ban, there are a few maps that Cloud9 are going to be happy to play against FaZe. Those are going to be Train, Mirage, maybe Cash, but we don't know, because as we can see, Cash has never been played because it's always been 2-0, even though it's always made it through. And Inferno as well, which Cloud9 have actually banned here all three times. So what we learned from the SK match today was that Cloud9's Inferno is actually pretty good. I think we also see that in general they've improved just versus FaZe and improved as a team since, you know, over the course of these last three times they played it. And I'm here to look at whether or not it makes sense for Cloud9 to just float that nuke ban or get rid of it. And I actually think they should float it, meaning that they're going to have the chance to ban twice, provided FaZe decide to go first, which I assume they will. And that means that they can push nuke to the second ban. And the only reason you wouldn't want to do this is if FaZe are going to play it. Well, FaZe did play nuke in the quarters. They let it through versus Mouse Sports, and I think part of the reason why was because Mouse Sports actually have a pretty good map pool versus FaZe, and FaZe have played nuke. They actually have they've actually won more games than they've lost on nuke in recent history and whatever. But overall, it's not really a map that they want to go on. So so the question is, can C9 get away with banning Overpass instead of nuke? FaZe are really fucking good at Overpass. C9, and I think C9 played Overpass versus G2. They won, and it was really surprising because G2 are insane at that map. But I think if I'm C9, I'd be like, all right, maybe you want to play Overpass, but I don't think that we want to leave it to chance, because I think that FaZe will be a lot better than even G2 on Overpass versus them. And as we can see, like, it's been just pretty dominant victories over them on Overpass. So I basically want to see a world where, you know, Mirage, Cash, and Train kind of can all get played potentially. And the only real way to do that is if C9 leaves the nuke ban for the second, because, you know, FaZe might be more inclined to pick it on the third map, even though I don't think they will pick it. And yeah, and I don't think they should totally remove the nuke ban. I think you should just leave it for the second one, because in the world where they don't ban nuke, there's not even two maps here that Cloud9 need to ban, if you will. So I think nuke being a map they don't play, it makes sense to get rid of their weakness. But what I want to do to supplement this is to look at FaZe's map versus Mouse Sports on nuke, because they actually won an OT. It was kind of a really heartbreaking victory, or heartbreaking loss for Mouse, because first of all, they're really good at nuke, and that was a map they should have won in that series. And you know, it shouldn't have been that close in the first place, but, you know, FaZe just have a lot of individual talent. So I'm not totally surprised they got away with it, but let's find out if there's anything to FaZe's nuke and if there is a good reason for Cloud9 to get rid of it right off the bat. And if they don't have to, you know, might strengthen their veto a little bit. Oh my god. And I think that... why is that so loud? Voice scale, I'm going to turn that to 0. And... okay, I think we're good now. For some reason, that is not working. I'm going to get this to work. Because I'm not going to run that intro back. And I think that we're good now. I want to say that we're good now. Give me a 3, 2, 1. And we're not good. Oh, there it was. We saw it. And I'm going to go ahead and resume the video. We're going to talk about this match between FaZe Clan and Mouse. It's going to be a long one, but let's check it out. See what happens. See if it, I guess I want to see if, you know, Mousesports really fucked this up. If Nuke look like, or if FaZe feel like they feel confident on it, and get an extra demo out of the way, because you know, want to upload something. This is a match we haven't watched, and the result was, I think, kind of surprising. First things first, the upstairs hit, and a really good hold overall for FaZe, as they pretty much just sat in their spots and got all their kills. So nothing too special there from Mouse. The idea was to just try to hit upper, which is a very common thing to do. Coming out of Squeaky when you think that the other team doesn't have a Molotov is really effective. That event is a huge problem for CTs, and it's actually kind of awkward to try to nade it and stuff like that. So there's only the guy who goes Heaven that can easily throw it, and then the guy Mini is usually late. So that has definitely been a focal point of the new Nuke. I can't exactly remember what it was like on old Nuke trying to molly the vent out, but I feel like it was a little bit easier. Now we've got pretty much a deco from Mousesports as we sit in the regular positions, and Sunny was obviously the star of the match. We know that from the future. And Nico was the star for FaZe as well. He had an insane 1v3 that we'll see on match point to help them get through. You know what, let's move ahead a little bit, assuming that, yeah, this eco round's gonna go smoothly, and try to see here what one of the rifle rounds looks like. We can get a lot of info here from the eco rounds. Just looking at how much money that FaZe have left over, and we can see it's a lot. It's technically a stronger buy right now for Mousesports. And Rain's in a fairly common position. He has a check to his right. I don't know if you can see behind that smoke, but I'm kind of surprised. No, he can't. But he has so much info for his team. Here I hear 4 sets of footsteps. I know a guy's Heaven. And he's so lucky to have pulled that trigger as soon as he did. But Rain likes those really high frag positions. He's also kind of been the best player on FaZe in recent times, so it's not surprising to see him kind of out there by himself. He really can hold his own and do it consistently. But now, in response, Mousesports have lower control, as well as a couple people outside and a 4-on-4. So they know a few things. One, Rain is down. They know that outside doesn't have support, and they also know that FaZe are going to be scrambling to figure out if they're going lower or not. This is the tricky part. This is the really hard and unique part about Nuke. So Nico becomes the focal point of the round. He picks kind of an angle here. It seems like he wants that he feels comfortable with, and he was switching between 2 points, as we could see. What a nice shot from Oscar. Perfect crosshair placement, and that's pretty much that. So good round from those. Doesn't look like Guardian's going to be able to save this either, or will he? Kind of curious. Maybe he does get away with it. Wow, with just 9 HP. I wonder if that affects the next round. Mousesports don't have enough money to buy an op. Oscar's going to want one. They could have definitely just taken that op. So Guardian has impact here. You can see that the fact that he got away with 9 HP actually meant a lot. But outside control, it's not going to be a surprise to FaZe that Mousesports are going to go for it. They love doing these walkouts or just taking control of it. And as we talked about last round, Rops kills Guardian. So that threat is gone. They go 1-for-1 on Rain, and that leaves them 4v3. So another really solid round for Mousesports. I wonder if pistols played a big factor for FaZe. If Because we see this and it's like, well, that's a really good start. But this round isn't necessarily over yet. This is definitely the very difficult part. It's not a 3-lane map like Dust 2, Mirage, Cache. Nuke is this interesting vertical map layout that means that when you're in these kinds of positions, like your rotates are literally up to down as opposed to left to right. It's disorienting. That should be it. I think I'm letting Prius observe this, but forgive him if he misses kills. It's very hard to follow where exactly people are and sometimes where the action's going to come from. Which is one of the reasons that Nuke should be taken out of the map pool. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to talk about all the salt I have directed at Nuke. We're here to find out if FaZe Clan's Nuke is actually good even though they don't play it that much. Another eco round. Now Sports win it. I have been response. Come out of spawn. Alright. They're kind of doing the same thing. I think on the original version of Nuke, it definitely came down to a lot of outside control because that was your best chance to stay alive while getting map control. Most other things pretty much just beg and execute or a straight up hit because it's like mid, right? So you spend a lot of time at mid to make it to kind of threaten both A and B simultaneously. And maybe we could see kind of why Mouse Sports like the map so much because they're very coordinated outside. Oh wow. Did he almost wallbang his teammate actually? Huh. Upstairs gets shut down. This is the other thing. It's coordinating hits once you decide to take the site with outside control because they're so far away from your teammates you cannot see them. And it's hard to tell exactly what they know. But yeah, Nico just dumpsters 2 players upstairs. No one's there to trade. And he can sit in heaven, which is a really strong spot with the man advantage. What happens now? Rob's freaking out. Young Tintin over here. Not going to be an easy plant. Oh. They didn't really have Heisenberg. It's tough because you plant at the back, you exposed to that door, but if you plant on the side, you're exposed to control. You kind of want to plant for something your teammate can cover you from, I think is rule number 1, but there are spots there where you necessarily can't even guarantee that. So anyway, that's that. It does come down to a sick hold from Nico upstairs. Alright. One more time they test outside. This time they use a lot less utility. And they're just letting Oscar work. It's a waste of utility to do the same thing every single round. Especially, you know, 2-3 smokes. Because teams will know what they can get away with holding, if that makes sense. And so just throwing your smokes out for no reason, if you're not going to use them, will only bait so much utility in response. But if you want to do it just to consistently veil that threat of players coming to that part of the map, then it's worth it to a certain extent. But when you start to use 2-3 smokes, you're really limiting yourself for the rest of the round. Good kill from Guardian. Common to go ahead and try to off the ramp. I wish I actually take a look at the veto with Mouse Sports and FaZe to see if Nuke was something they couldn't avoid or something that they actually wanted to leave in because they were confident playing it. Because that's something I would look at if I was Cloud9. But I think in spite of making this video, I really don't think this veto gets much harder for FaZe because they're going to be happy to play whatever the other map is. Like if it's Cache or Train on top of Mirage and whatever else. Holy shit. The fucking kid. That is not easy to do. Okay. That was not easy to do. And yeah, it wasn't an individual play, but it's going to take a certain level of comfort for you on the T side to make those plays yourself. Another anti-eco. FaZe not doing anything special, just working their pistols. They can be super threatening with those pistols, even if they're by themselves. Like FaZe is kind of the only team that can really just go into a rifle round setup with pistols and still be a threat. Ooh, that's a pretty bad whiff, but they can't get the op, it doesn't look like it. So you... We're actually getting a lot of the eyes on the terrorists, and I think that's because as a spectator... Oh, wow. Okay. Well, trades go their way anyway. Upper hit, super effective. This is also game tape, right? Because the most recent match they played, it was at the major. They haven't changed their nuke since then. They're probably not expecting to play it versus Cloud9. Yeah. I think for Cloud9, you know, they're going to think, well, we don't want to play nuke, right? That's the bottom line. They don't want to play nuke. But do FaZe want to play? Do FaZe want to play nuke? And if they won't, we have a better chance than the last times we played. Is he going to stay on this? Oh, he's actually not. Wow. Holy smokes. That's well played by Sunny to not freak out. Another pause gets called. I think FaZe get a couple more rounds in this half. Spacing the timeouts well. But they've been pretty susceptible to almost everything. Like pretty simple, you know, squeaky bust, outside control. The difficult part is definitely the later round though when you take outside control because it gets confusing. And Olaf has a scout here. Let's just see if he hits a shot. I mean, I'd like to find out. He's not giving him enough. I get blue balls when I watch someone shoulder peeking like that on T side. That's good discipline. Alright, just gonna go for their straight ups. Wow, man. Just runs out of hut with the op because Oscar's got it like that. I mean, you've got to be that kind of player if you're opping. These days to get kills, it's not easy. So it really looks like it's CT side that mouse boards fall apart on. Their T side looks, you know, pretty solid overall. They're winning a lot of rounds. They're kind of doing everything they want to. FaZe really only have a pistol to their name in a couple of rounds. Where Nico was able to, one where Nico was able to hold upstairs, and I don't remember what's happened on the second one. But yeah, kind of nothing special as expected. Clean frag from Guardian. Guardiano. Oh my god. That was special. That was awesome. He's already had a round and a half whether or not he gets this kill. Unfortunately though, their round isn't over. Only 2 up for FaZe. Guardian's in a pretty good, or Range's in a pretty good spot, and oh my god. The man, the myth, the legend. What a 3K. Oh, super well done. Realized when he had to get, you know, when you're in the 2-on-3, when you're in the 2-on-3, your teammate's not going to fault you for looking for a fight. You need to get that kill. You also, when the bomb's going down, always imagine when at the time, you know, 4 seconds that the bomb's getting planted, that one of the terrorists is completely incapacitated, has told you exactly where he is, and can't help his teammates fight. They're completely incapacitated. So taking advantage of that in the 2vx by pushing or trying to find a fight is almost always a good idea. It seems too obvious, but it is go time. Mouse boards actually run lower, which I don't really like too much. So you can see they pull the rotations through the floor. It's going to be a few CTs to hear this. They've left one guy upstairs and they've spread out nicely. So if I'm phased, I'm still kind of worried about this, but they're in pretty good spots. And yeah, there's, you know, Guardian to Nico's left. Olaf there as well to get a kill. Now, even though it's an after plant, Olaf's and Nico's in a pretty good spot. But that kill getting away from him makes it kind of strange. So this is a winnable after plant situation. They, especially now that they got this kill. Oh, this is a pretty good Molotov. Oh, and they just do a good job in their spots. Kerrigan's like, I gotta go. Why does he run through that Molotov? Well, number one, because they didn't have a lot of time left. Number two, because they, because his teammate died, they know where he was. He's gotta do something crazy. You know, you gotta get crazy sometimes. Alright. What's different here? Guardian outside. Loses his engagement. Do they not get the second pistol? That would be a big oof. This is an unlosable afterplant, really. I mean, all the CTs are coming in from the same side. Right? Like, in an afterplant situation, regardless of the map, I mean, this mini-map makes absolutely no sense, but just seeing that 4 CTs are coming in from the same side, just a sign that they're going to lose, because, I mean, unless something goes terribly wrong, right? Which can kind of sometimes happen, but all their angles are this way. So, you know, as soon as FaZe start counting them up, they're going to realize that they can take spots where they don't have to worry about their backs at all. I don't know why their backs at all. They don't have to worry about that at all, which increases the number of spots they can stand in, and it's pretty much Mouseboard's begging them to peek. Whereas if, you know, you had someone coming through ramp, then this guy might have to peek, show his back to one of these guys, and that's kind of the goal of your retake. You have good retake spots. But since it's the pistol, and they have 4 alive, they're definitely going to go for it. Smoke could work out well. Just a really good spam from Nico. Oh my god, he opened those doors weird ways. And that's it, it was denied. So, this is the official start of a long comeback. I'm going to go ahead and skip this round. I'm going to skip this round too. Well, let's take a look at their T side, see what they do. Outside control, Chris J spots him as the smokes go down. Very common stuff. And again, you can throw the smokes and not use them. You can use them into lurk, you can not use them. The whole point is to try to pull a rotation. What a fantastic shot on the crouch move in the brain from Chris. Do whatever you want to, Jay. Wow. Olaf got played like a fiddle. And that's it. The default was picked apart. I think the highlights or important things about that round were some early damage was dealt by Chris J outside because there was a peek before the smoke came out, and I don't think they were expecting to see the scout, so that was one thing that they had to worry about. Fantastic round overall. And apart from that, everyone just kind of held their spots. I like the faster tempo. Oh, and they've actually picked Mini to rush. From there, they just completely take upstairs. Getting in the face of your opponent. Show them that you're not scared. Playing with confidence. And also, sometimes, you know, it's important to rush for a very fundamental reason. And that's that if you don't rush any round, then teams will just hold on to their nades. But you're getting rid of mollies is the most important thing. Mollies and smokes. So if you show them that you do rush, especially early on in the half, then you know there's gonna be rounds in the future where they're always scared of it. They're gonna be throwing their nades early. If you save a rush, on the other hand, and maybe a team starts holding grenades, and then that allows you to rush. I mean, both can be good, but in either situation, you got to pepper in a rush every once in a while. That was kind of the trouble with Navi at some point in CSGO history, was that they would never ever rush. They would let the rounds go until the last like 20 seconds, and that made it so that teams could, well, they were ridiculous. Like, they would leave it to the last 10 seconds and then try to jump out for a plant, and a lot of times they'd get away with it, and they were pretty good. But we saw the the real emergent style. What's still the prevalent style is one where you have a mix of both. You've got to have balance in life, right? That's why usually I drink Modelo, but today I'm drinking Bud Light. It's all about balance. Oof. Wow, he's going that aggressive. Oh, I think he heard a scout, so he's happy to fight. I think in his, Guardian's mind, he's like, I could probably take one hit. This is, it's kind of the Special Olympics, isn't it? But he finishes it off. And for Guardian, he's like, I don't need to stop and make sure I hit my shot. I just need to shoot, hopefully hit a nice flick, and just hope that I don't get hit. Because as soon as he gets hit, Scout's even better than the op. So, what happens now? Is this an interesting buying decision for Mouse Sports? With the reset round, they decided to buy up. Nuke's a map that you can get away with like a real messy force. Like, if a team get forced outside, they still have to go inside. They still have to come through like very tight corridors in a lot of very close angles to actually get the bomb down. Excuse me. So that's friendly to shotguns. As made famous by an entire half of Hiko's noob tube, where he dominated upstairs by sitting on top of hut and shooting people as they came out of squeaky and hut. Retake's kind of on. I mean, for them, they bought in this round kind of all or nothing. But it's Sunny at this point. It's got an AK. And they've got prime after plant spots with an op on. That'll be watching, 2 out of the 3 angles he could potentially come from. I wonder if the spot's any good. I mean, I feel like they just see your feet. Well, I guess we'll find out. Guess we won't find out. So I think here they eat the double save. Oh, looks like it's just one. That makes the buying decision even better. Though it has taken a bite out of what they could have had with these 2 umps now. Sticker with the nice hold upstairs, really playing with that angle, abusing the fact that he can run and shoot, and getting 3 frags. Big plays from the little kid. See, upstairs rush is no good. How is it that they figure out mouse sports in this map? It's a lot less outside control from FaZe. They've done now, I think, 3 upstairs rushes, 2 of which worked. Real problem with upstairs rushes when they don't work, or anything rushes when they don't work, is you really leave it out on the table there. You're like, I'm gonna rush, and when you lose, you look stupid. Not to say it was a stupid decision or that FaZe are dumb or anything like that, but you look dumb when you lose a rush, or you take a round out slowly and you lose. It doesn't really look as bad. You give yourself more chances to win the round, but when you when you lose to a rush, it's humiliating almost. Like, fuck, all I had to do was counter nade properly. Oh man, I just whiffed that one small spray transfer or lineup. But this plays really well into Mouse's odds here, but it looks like this game's not over. Being in vent versus an upstairs hit, it's kind of terrifying. Oh boy, Guardian was actually going to go down the vent at him. Oh my god, he picked a good time to come up. Chris, could he win this? The B-hop to the left side of the silo, and the crack peek takes his fucking arm off for 100 damage. Guardian, good night. That was well played by Chris J. He had to take a risk. I mean, you know, if he was risking getting off as the bomb goes down as he comes up the vent, it's just not a road you want to go down. So finding a way to get up into safety as the bomb gets planted is probably your best situation, because otherwise you have a big ass rotate. You don't even have 2 vents to work with. So suddenly immediately drops as the smoke cross smokes come out upstairs again, and Kerrigan makes his way into the hut. Stiko has been a boss upstairs. Yeah, and he's contributed well. Everybody's actually getting kills. And funnily enough, FaZe have are ahead in this half. I would, you know, take Mousesports to win this map at this scoreline after seeing how these early rounds have gone, because of the fact that 2 of the rifle rounds that FaZe won were rushes, meaning that I think they're scared of their own lack of coordination when it comes to the late round plays, which again is not to say that FaZe are a bad team, but just that, you know, they don't play the map as much. Mousesports are way more comfortable with the slow, methodical, thought out rounds, as well as going fast when they needed to. But we're gonna find out why it is that Mousesports lose, or at least, you know, even how they blew relegation here. Regulation. 12-12. And an eco. 13-12. No ops for FaZe. A couple of SMGs for Mousesports. Should they have stuck with their SMGs? I mean, definitely going the bonus round route makes sense because of the vehicle buy, but it's kind of crunch time here. I don't know. I feel like maybe just upgrading the MP9 makes sense, especially since right now Rops is by himself with the MP9. FaZe haven't abused ramp, or I think they tried and got shut down once. I wonder if they'll try it again. Chris trying to kill it. So Robs goes ahead and gets a 2K. You know what? Robs is actually a monster at ramp. Maybe I forgot to bring that up, but he is actually a monster at ramp. He has had maps versus Astralis that would just blow your mind with the way that he holds it, and he is there by himself all the time. A huge reason why they're able to win rounds on their CT side. Kerrigan's actually super smart in the clutch. Wouldn't be surprised if this was competitive. Even though his aim isn't very good, I think in the clutch he can focus on it a little more, and he usually makes very smart decisions when it comes to planting or anything like that. So there, you know, maybe aim would have helped him out a bit, but kind of had the right idea. The guys, Christy, I think, was moving forward, which is the spot you want to be in. And ooh, yeah. So they won the bonus round. They got tons of money. It means they can probably buy for the rest of these rounds if they, I guess, it's if they win this. Which it is, you know, half buy for FaZe. Pretty much a force up. Not a round that Mousesports want to throw away here. Ooh, that was nice. Nice from Guardian. Good patience. He waited out the landing recovery time. That's kind of the last kill that Mousesports can give away. Oscar down to 1 HP. Oh, wow, and the Molotov catches him. Jeez, they're gonna win. How is that? How is that? Boss can only do so much. He got dinked outside. And the pistols are extremely strong for FaZe, so man, that would have been close to game. I mean, you know, one more round, but also Mousesports or FaZe didn't even invest all their money. This was on a force up. They only spent half their money. So next round they're gonna have round win plus this bonus, like this leftover. We're gonna see what how that affects the economy. You know, if I'm robbing, like, how do I do more damage? But at the same time, what the fuck can I do? Because I'm in vent. 31 kills from Sunny. Damn. Yeah, look how healthy their economy is now. After that save, they would have had just enough to squeak out a full rifle buy, but now they get their buys in and they have leftovers with a round to spare. That's kind of rough. God, Nuke is so boring. Can I just say that? I don't like this map. I think it looks good, but God, spectating it. Nico taking a spawn to up and then dropping it to Guardian. What's the move now? Late rounds have been alright. I mean, Mouse Sports have only had trouble versus rushes, right? Explosiveness. That's how FaZe won that eco. But the upstairs fast executes haven't been working, or didn't work at the end for FaZe. So now they're like, how do we reinvent ourselves? How do we do that again without doing that again? So, seems like their answer is to make sure they just don't die in the early round, which would mirror what it would be like on a rush, where you get all 5 players out. I guess feign that you're gonna play the long con with map control and so on, but actually you're just waiting, biding time, baiting utility so that you can rush again. The hut molly is really good. Tico's in an awkward spot. They at least get that one fire kill in the hut, and Oscar is just gonna try not to get his feet shot. Peeks at the perfect time, and it looks like Mounds. And there you go, clean up on match point. So again, now that it's match point, looking back at the half, it's FaZe can't kill you rushing, they're gonna have a hard time killing you. I don't think that would change for Cloud9, but I think that we're mostly talking about would FaZe feel comfortable playing this map again, and I'd be concerned. I'd be concerned about leaving it in. This thing about having to kill Stewie at Squeaky and Rush at Mustang, you know, on top of Skadoodle playing outside on a default, when you don't even know exactly how they're going to play it. Why would you want to leave it in? There's just too much randomness when FaZe are a better team than Cloud9. Why leave it to chance? A lot of pros have been tweeting that they think that Cloud9 can actually have a chance. And I think the one thing they have is like the similar map pool, but the thing is, in all their previous matches, they get destroyed on the maps they want to play. This is kind of the only way I see that they might have a chance of improving their situation in the rush outside. And we know that this does go to OT.
Deploying flashbang. Throwing flashbang.
So now we're just gonna watch for how Props plays his spot to perfection. How the fuck did they lose this round? Oh wait, is this the one that Sunny? Oh, this is the one that Sunny killed. Wait, is this the one that Sunny kills himself by accident? Oh shit, this is the one that Sunny kills himself. I thought that was an OT. So we missed it obviously, but Sunny dropped out of heaven upstairs and killed himself, trying to rotate to lower basically. And that puts everybody in a really weird spot. And yeah, that's tough. Oh my god. And Sunny was the guy upstairs, so they decided to go upstairs. Oh my god. And Guardian's not even up here. Oh my god. And Olaf gets a kill. Oh my god. And Robs, who played his spot well, is now in a 1-on-2. Oh my god. Wow, this is heartbreaking. I think it would have been hard for Mouse Sports to close out if they went, you know, full 3 maps, even though Nuke didn't go their way, but you never know, you know? You never know. It's tough. At least they get him a legend spot. It's always good.
We are going to win.
It's the casual legend spot. So it was kind of a fluff by Mouse Sports. The early round was good, but again, they beat themselves. Just having a guy die that shouldn't have died, and making the mid-round strange when, you know, everything's on a hairpin on CT side. If somebody dies, your setup changes in so many weird ways. People have to move as opposed to watch something new. Because, like, the choke points, and I hate to describe it so abstractly, but the choke points are in such weird angles in different places and where people can come from changes so drastically when you lose control of a spot on CT side of Nuke, and that's also something that makes it kind of unfun to play. There's a lot of unorthodox ways that you can see that people are holding positions. Rops is not one of them. This is very common. He's just kind of picking his favorite angle here. And that's a good kill. His job here is basically to fall off. Goes for 2. He had 100 HP. Still a pretty good round. I mean, it's guaranteed for himself, that his team, that he has this. And oh, so this is the other heartbreaker for Mouse. This is a oh my God, 2v4 again. 2v4 again. Nico, the late lurker, to come down the vent. And Kerrigan over here in control. They know where he is. I think he spotted a foot. Also gets a kill. And Nico, he knows about Chris. Chris looks at him. Nico puts him away. Here he is, staying alive. They've even got the utility to deal with him. Here's the fire flying right through him. And he doesn't want to let the bomb get stuck. Nico dies in the fucking fire. If Stiko didn't fight, he would have died. It's crazy because you never see Nico get embarrassed doing something like that, and he just kind of knew that that's what he had to do. And my God, that's tough, man. Pour some Bud Light out for Stiko. Upstairs fast. Oh no, it's actually outside. Outside control gets shut down. There's some dimensions here. We can see by watching this that Mousesports are obviously better at the map. There is also the question of game tape. I think FaZe got a lot of valuable game tape on Cloud9 in their playoff run. That'll allow them to just study. I mean, if anything, you're going to want to watch the most recent games, so that all those games that happen, they don't mean anything. You play maps that you're going to play versus somebody else, they're going to study the fuck out of those maps. And it's just more reason, I think, that no, the FaZe are just going to stick to what they know. They have the Cloud9 matchup in spades. I mean, that would be one of the biggest upsets of all time. I mean, there's no real other way to spin it. Even though Cloud9 had fantastic performance, just looking at their recent head-to-head. Else can put a good start to OT. Nico goes into another 1vx situation. Has to refer to the Glock. That ain't strong enough. Whoa, what's going on here? Looks like a match medic. We are not live. I'm not sure if this goes to a second OT or not. I'm actually not sure what the rules are if they do MR3 10K. Is MR3? 3 is for the half. Yeah. As in 3 rounds in each half. Oh, it looks like that's why this demo is so long. Match medic here. Let's see when I get into it. Okay. Slow outside control for FaZe. Chris J blind. Looks like they're going to be inhibited from being able to do as much damage as they did before. Smokes are interesting. I like these. Not really giving Chris any openings here, and they've actually walked across outside, which is, I think, a better idea than running. you have 3 extra seconds, just hit that shift key. Shots missed outside, but chaos ensues. Rops and Chris both go down. Don't know how it happened. I don't think FaZe care. Sunny finds 1 kill. Kerrigan probably saw him disappear into the vents, but doesn't really help Mouse Sports all that much. Man advantage so dramatically in FaZe's favor. And to make matters worse, Rain gets a kill before the flash pops. So it looks like they've been definitely improved over time. I was like I mean, that's, you know, one of those late round situations that I felt like FaZe were a little bit more uncomfortable trying to pull off, and they still managed to do it. Don't know how those kills went down. They weren't on outside players though, just kind of weird. Like Rob's died holding ramp, which he's usually there alone. You also got to factor in that Mouse Sports are going to be tilted. They will be tilted. There's no way they can avoid that. They know they were about to win. They could have won 2 times in regulation. And all they're doing is fucking themselves by going to OT. Play a team like FaZe, you want to end the game as soon as possible, especially when you're the underdog. The longer it gets, the more Monka-esque it gets. Because you can smell victory. Wow. Fantastic spray from Olaf. Pretty much just a good angle, a good individual play. He could have got off there, but he was just too aware. That's kind of where the round begins and ends again, actually. Chris and Rob's going down. I wonder if it's because they tried that ramp push last round that happened again. That's tough. So one more look at their CT side after they've kind of mentally refreshed things, which might, you know, might be some interesting data to look at. What do the CTs change after having some time to think about how their last half went, which was not very good. Mouse Sports go back to what worked for them, which I think makes sense. Just kind of working outside slowly. Nice. Good and proactive from Sunny to take the 50-50 duel when he sees it.
Incendiary. Deploying flashbang. Terrorists win.
Exactly sure what happened there. Basically, after that duel went down, I mean, they had lower, but then they lost their fights upstairs. I guess they decided to try to split it. They've definitely historically done a lot better going for lower hits, but you can't always go lower. So I'm not necessarily saying that they should have gone lower as they usually do, because it doesn't always make sense. Could be the last round of the game. Those freaking angles. Good trade from Sunny, but already a sick round from Nico. Outside shutdown. Player ups. Ooh. Guardian's been spotted. Oh, when he falls back, Sunny almost punishes him for it too. But since he gets away, still a player in the game. 3 people upstairs. Mouse Sports run right into them. It's all down to this man right here. It was an egregious amount of kills. Totally absurd. But with no bomb control and 3 people waiting for him to come through every choke point, there was no chance for Mouse Sports to win. So, I guess looking back at that and the veto overall, It seems like FaZe are at least like competent um, on Nuke. They're running like glaring mistakes. I think they're at first it seemed like their T side might be a little bit one dimensional. We haven't looked at game tape for FaZe. Let's take a look at FaZe versus Mouse Sports at the major. Maybe that's right there. And see how this came down to Nuke. So FaZe removed Cobblestone. Okay, that's why, because they always will disband Cobblestone because they don't play it at all. So that's just their insta-ban, and that's why Nuke was left open. So there's actually something to this matchup, and maybe why UCS finals is kind of close. Just like the amount of maps, first of all, that Mouse Sports have like played on, and just having Nuke in general. But it's not. So yeah, this is kind of the veto that Cloud9 they kind of want. They just want to ban Overpass, I think. But it's a risk, and you know, if we're in their shoes, they're thinking, well, if we let Nuke through and FaZe pick it, then we're fucking retards, and you know, if we lose Nuke, we're gonna regret it for the rest of our lives. But I think that you should go into the veto thinking, if we look at our last series, you know, we see that Overpass is not a map where we're likely to win. It's also very unlikely that FaZe pick it, which is a very important factor. I think it would still be stupid for them to pick it, even if Cloud9 leave it in. And we're underdogs. We've got to do something different, you know. And I think it's important to be brave in the veto for that reason. We don't know what Kerrigan's thinking, and he's really good at vetoes. But I think that might be an interesting option for them. And hopefully they make a right one, and it's just a exciting match tomorrow. I think no matter what happens, I think everyone's proud of Cloud9 for how far they've come, just as an underdog team. You know, North American fans, everything they've done something amazing in making a major final in just a really hard era of Counter-Strike. It's just fantastic, and it's shown that this lineup is actually, with time, finally, you know, with time, has actually gone to the point where they can beat really fucking good teams. You know, G2, SK, no slouches. So kudos to them, and hopefully we get a nice final tomorrow. And maybe something interesting in the veto that can make the games a bit closer. And maybe we'll see like Cash get played, for example. So yeah, that was that. That was interesting. I don't think the demo review is all that interesting, but we threw it in there. I definitely wanted to see about FaZe's Nuke. And yeah, so that's it. Cheers, everyone.